Hey guys, and welcome to week 12 of class. This week we're going to begin essentially what is I guess, 4 to 5 week assessment of perhaps one of the most climactic moments in U.S. history. And in fact, some historians would argue that this is the most important event in American history, or U.S. history rather, and that's the American Civil War. And I find it to be not only incredibly important, kind of a cornerstone of American history, but incredibly interesting as well. It is a controversial topic in some respects, in that when we attempt to understand what caused the war, historians have spent much ink to try and figure out exactly what the cause or causes of the war were. So what we're going to be doing this week and next week is we're going to be focusing in on some of the larger arguments and some of the larger topics as to what caused the war. For this week, we're just going to be doing a very broad overview and looking at some of the larger main causes, and these things would include things like slavery, westward expansion of slavery. Some have argued that it's an issue of federalism and states' rights. Others have argued that it's different economic institutions and realities in the Union at that time. Others have argued it's an issue of preservation of the Union. There's a whole host of arguments, and oftentimes many of these arguments overlap with one another. And so we're going to be looking at some of these broader topics this week, as well as some of what some people call trigger events. And these things would include Kansas-Nebraska Act, the Wilmot Proviso. You've got, abolitionists such as John Brown. You've got the election of Abraham Lincoln. So lots of things going on, and most of this, not all, of course, but a lot of this takes place between the mid-1840s up through the 1860s, a lot of these trigger events. So that's what we're going to be looking at this week. Now, for the discussion board this week, I'm mainly looking for you just to explain and describe what you've heard this week. And then next week, we have an interactive online activity that I'm going to have you roll through. And then it's there during next week that I'm going to ask you to tell me, okay, which of these do you think is the most likely, or, maybe there's more than one of the causes that you think most likely caused the war. And, of course, there you'll have an opportunity to give us your opinion and tell us why you think that. But for this week, I mainly just want to get us to understand what some of these larger arguments are. Now, of course, I'm not going to be able to fully digest any one of them, but we're going to try and at least give a broad overview, okay? So that's what we got going on this week. Of course, you do have your discussion boards due. Thursday, your main, Sunday, your response. And always be aware of what other assignments are coming up. I think for you guys, it's just the next PowerPoint assignment, I think, is the only other major assignment that you have. Obviously, you've got the final exam, but you don't need to worry about that just yet. But that's what we've got going on. So as always, if you have questions or what have you, please contact me and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Otherwise, as always, go in peace, be warm and filled. May the force be with you, live long and prosper, and may the odds forever be in your favor. Have a blessed week, guys.